June 21st, Atlanta, Georgia. 10 minutes into the match. A cross comes in from the left. Low. Fast. Across the 6-yard box. And a teenager slides in at the back post. Right-footed, calm, clinical, and steers it into the net. The stadium erupts. Spain lead 1-0. And somewhere in the record books, a name that has stood untouched for 68 years gets company for the very first time. The teenager who just scored? He was not even born when most of the people watching that match started following football. And the record he just equaled? It belonged to the most celebrated footballer in the history of the sport. This is the story of what Lamine Yamal did on Sunday, and why it matters more than just a tap-in at a group stage game. Spain versus Saudi Arabia. Group H, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta. Their second match of the 2026 World Cup, following a goalless draw against Cape Verde that had raised serious questions about whether Spain were the same team that won Euro 2024. Yamal's moment came in the 10th minute at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Oyarzabal drove a quality ball into the area, and Yamal met it at the far post, sliding in a right-footed finish from roughly 5 yards to put La Roja ahead 1-0. It was his first goal across 27 international appearances for Spain. 27 appearances without a World Cup goal. The wait is over. And the way it arrived, calm, assured, no panic, no hesitation, said everything about the player. The goal was 2010 champion Spain's first in its last 299 minutes of World Cup action. 299 minutes. Nearly 5 full games worth of World Cup football without scoring. Spain had been carrying that drought since Qatar 2022. And the player who ended it, on his very first World Cup start, was 18 years and 343 days old. The goal materialized from a smooth build-up sequence that showcased Spain's typical possession-dominant style. Mikel Oyarzabal found space along the left touchline and delivered a low cross to the back post, where an unmarked Yamal easily tapped it in. The 10th-minute strike opened the scoring and set the tone for Spain's commanding 4-0 group stage victory over the Saudis. But the scoreline, as emphatic as it was, is almost secondary to the record that goal produced. Because what Opta confirmed in the minutes after the net rippled is the kind of statistic that puts a single moment in its full historical context. The record Yamal just equaled is 68 years old. It was set in Sweden, in black and white, by a 17-year-old who would go on to become the greatest footballer the world had ever seen at that point. And until Sunday, nobody had ever matched it. Sweden, 1958. The FIFA World Cup quarterfinals. Brazil versus Wales. Brazilian legend Pelé achieved this monumental feat on June 19, 1958. He was just 17 years and 239 days old when he controlled the ball in the penalty area and scored the decisive, brilliant goal in a 1-0 quarterfinal victory against Wales, cementing a timeless milestone that still stands as the youngest goalscorer in World Cup history. 17 years and 239 days. A child, essentially, playing in a World Cup quarterfinal, scoring the only goal. Brazil went on to win that tournament, their first ever, and Pelé went on to win 2 more. He became the only player in history to win 3 World Cups. He scored 77 goals for Brazil. He is still, to many, the benchmark against which all others are measured. And the specific record that Yamal equaled on Sunday was not just about age. It was about the specific, remarkable quality of what he did. At 18 years and 343 days old, Yamal became only the second player aged 18 or younger to score the opening goal of a World Cup match in the tournament's 96-year history. Pelé was 17 years and 239 days old when he scored Brazil's only goal against Wales in the quarterfinals of the 1958 World Cup. The opening goal, not just a goal in a World Cup match. The first goal of the match, stepping up in the biggest moment, delivering the breakthrough, being the one who opens the scoring on the biggest stage in football. In 96 years of World Cup football, exactly one player had ever done that at the age of 18 or under. One player, one record, standing completely alone for nearly 7 decades. Until Lamine Yamal slid in at the back post in Atlanta. The Pelé record is the headline. But the full context of where Yamal now sits among the all-time youngest World Cup scorers reveals something that makes this even more remarkable. By finding the back of the net against Saudi Arabia, the 18-year-old phenom became the 8th youngest goal scorer in tournament history, eclipsing the early career milestones of legends like Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Let that list sit for a moment. Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo, the three players who have dominated conversations about the greatest of their era for the last 15 years. Yamal is now younger than all three of them were when they scored their first World Cup goals. At just 18 years and 343 days old, he surpassed Lionel Messi, considered by Yamal himself as the GOAT, as one of the youngest players to score in this tournament. Messi's first World Cup goal came at 18 years and 357 days. 14 days. Yamal beat Messi's benchmark by exactly 14 days. The man Yamal has spoken about as his footballing idol. The man who, in a photograph from 2007, held a 6-month-old Yamal in his arms at Camp Nou, is now behind him on that list. Yamal also easily surpassed Kylian Mbappe, who became France's youngest World Cup scorer during the 2018 tournament in Russia by netting the winner against Peru. Mbappe was 19 years and 183 days old at the time, trailing the Spanish youngster's pace by roughly 6 months. Mbappe, the player who has broken France's all-time scoring record at this very tournament, the player who has been compared to everyone from Henry to Ronaldo, was 6 months older than Yamal when he scored his first World Cup goal. Cristiano Ronaldo's first World Cup goal arrived when he was 21 years and 132 days old. 21. Ronaldo was 21. Yamal is 18. The comparison is almost unfair in how starkly it illustrates what is happening here. There is one more layer to this story. One detail that connects Yamal to Messi in a way that goes beyond statistics and records. A photograph that has become one of the most talked about images in football, and that now feels like something more than coincidence. In 2007, FC Barcelona and UNICEF organized a raffle in Catalonia. The prize was a chance to meet the Barcelona first team. A young family from the town of Matar won. They brought their infant son, just a few months old, to Camp Nou. On July 4th, Yamal's father Monir Nasraoui, who immigrated to Spain from Morocco, posted a picture to Instagram of his son as a baby and Barcelona star Messi. The caption, translated into English, reads, "The beginning of two legends." In 2007, a 6-month-old Yamal and Messi were featured in a UNICEF photo shoot together. The same Lionel Messi who is now at his 6th World Cup, who won it in 2022, who scored a hat-trick at this tournament just days ago, was photographed cradling the baby who would go on to beat his World Cup goal-scoring age record by 14 days. Ahead of the 2025-26 season, FC Barcelona announced that Yamal would wear the iconic number 10 jersey, which Messi had also worn during his tenure at the club. The same shirt, the same academy, the same club, the same position, and now, the same list of World Cup youngest scorers, with Yamal just above. He became the youngest player to be nominated for the Ballon d'Or at age 17, won the Copa Trophy in 2024 and 2025, and finished as runner-up for the 2025 Ballon d'Or at 18 years old. He holds multiple records in his international career. Youngest player to appear in a UEFA European Championship final, youngest player in a European Championship, youngest goalscorer in a European Championship, and now, second youngest to open scoring in a World Cup match, behind only Pele. Spain's coach Luis de la Fuente has been careful about the Messi comparison. It's a mistake to compare Yamal to Messi or Maradona, de la Fuente said at a pre-tournament news conference. And he is probably right. Comparing any teenager to the two greatest players of all time is a burden that helps nobody. But the records do not lie. And the records say that what Lamine Yamal is doing, at the age that he is doing it, places him in company that only a handful of humans have ever occupied. He turns 19 next month. 19. He will not even be 19 by the time this World Cup is over. Spain face Uruguay in Guadalajara on June 27th to close out Group H. A win or draw likely secures top spot. And Lamine Yamal, the teenager who was photographed as a baby with Lionel Messi, who won Euro 2024 at 16, who now shares a World Cup record with Pele, will almost certainly start. 68 years. One record. One player who finally matched it. The world has a new name to watch, and it is going to be watching for a very long time. Stay subscribed for complete World Cup 2026 coverage.